Please stand. Ms. Pierce will lead us in the invocation, and then Ms. Allen will lead the pledge.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to begin with item 2.1, approved minutes of the Glades County School regular board meeting of April 11, 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Allen,
second.
second Ms. Pierce. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll move to item 3.1, public comment on agenda items. And do you have any cards? Okay. I will say we do have a 3-minute time limit. So if later in the meeting, if you want to speak to something, please fill out a card and give it to Miss Jackie. All right. We'll move to the public hearing section. Item 4.1, adoption of revised school board policies as advertised in Okeechobee News on March 2024.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Prowant,
Second.
second Ms. Pierce. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 5.1, approve proposed amendments to the agenda. We do have 2 amendments, so we'll need a motion to approve those amendments.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Pierce.
Second.
Was that Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Second by Ms. Allen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll move to item 6.1, update on new elementary school. And I don't see Mr. Gressitt. Dr. Barfield?
So we are currently about where we were last month. However, I just want to give you all a date. We are going to be doing a groundbreaking. We're going to do August 5th through the 9th at one of those days, and I don't have the specific day yet. We're waiting on a response from a couple of state leaders that wanted to be present. So, but just block off. That's also the first week teachers are back, and I would want the elementary school to come, the teachers to have the opportunity, and the staff to have the opportunity to come to that. So that's really all I have right now.
Okay, I have a school board meeting on the 8th on that day. Is that correct?
Yes.
August 8th? Okay, all right. So
If we receive confirmation of one of the guests, I would ask that we reschedule the school board meeting.
Okay.
Yes, at 9 o'clock.
It is a 9 o'clock meeting.
Thursday.
Okay. How about the permit from South Florida Water Management? Has it come in yet?
I have not heard anything from Mr.
Okay.
Gressitt about it, so I'm assuming no, but
Okay. Just
Mr.
wondering.
Gressitt drove the track team to the district track meet today, and he has sent me messages all throughout the day, and he said we're gonna need a very large bus to go to regionals.
Oh, good.
So it sounds like they're doing really well.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's so good.
Awesome. All right, we'll move to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any items that they need to pull from the consent agenda?
No, ma'am.
All right, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Prowant, second by Ms. Pierce. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right, we'll move to item 8.1, Approval of the Moorhaven Elementary School Safety Patrol trip to Orlando, May 20th through the 22nd. And I did ask Ms. Krosky if she would come forward, and she has some information to share with us before we vote on that. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna all want to go with her when she finishes.
I know, God,
Not me.
sounds like fun stuff.
I'm not stomping through SeaWorld or anything else.
Copies. Hello, I'm Roshan Dukowski. I'm one of the Patrol sponsors at the Moorhaven of the school. And we're gonna take a 3-day trip, starting on May the 20th, gonna go up to Orlando for the 3 days. I gave you a paper that's passing around now, it just stated that our itinerary. We'll leave that morning, and we're gonna, first off, what we're gonna do is escape room. And then from escape room, we'll go to iFly, which is an indoor skydiving place that all the kids, they chose where they wanted to go at. And then that evening, we'll go to Disney Springs and then eat dinner at Planet Hollywood. That Tuesday, we're gonna go to Universal Studios, have lunch at the park fair, and then that evening, we're gonna go to Medieval Times to see a show and have dinner. The third day, which is gonna be that Wednesday, May the 22nd, we're gonna go at SeaWorld and be there the whole day and leave about 4 o'clock, headed back to Moorhaven. When we first came here, and asked to go on the trip, we had roughly around like $5,000 in our account. So of course, our administrator was like, I don't know if you guys gonna be able to go anywhere or make it to go anywhere. But as of today, we have roughly over 19,000 in our account.
Right.
Thank you, Ms. Krosky, for your hard work. I know that's quite a load to lift that much money, so thank you. And it sounds exhausting, though, to go. You're gonna be tired when you get back.
My kids are done.
All
I
right.
wanna do the indoor skydiving. Can I come?
Ma'am?
Did you say you wanted to do the indoor?
Yes, that
Yeah.
sounds like so much fun.
Yeah,
I've already done all the other things.
yeah.
I don't have more ducks on my.
Clifton to jump off a rope plane.
No, thank you.
All right, so we've had a good explanation of what's gonna go on. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Prowant. We'll give the second to Ms. Clement. She hasn't got one yet tonight. All right, and we'll move to 8.2, approval of
We
a,
need to vote.
oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.2, approval of a policy to offer universal free breakfast per section 570.981 Florida statutes. I did ask Mr. Boyles to remove that from the consent so he could talk to us a little bit about it, because I had never noticed that on our agenda before, so. Mr. Boyles?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about this, because it's important about giving students a fresh start or a good start to the day. If we were over 80% freedom reduced at the schools, we would have to offer for all students. We've been doing good work as far as identifying students, but our district is a federal direct certification district, which means that we don't actually do the legwork anymore. The state does it for us. So what they do is they gather information from all sources that they possibly can that might be receiving assistance or anything of that nature, and then they determine if the student is free or reduced lunch. So it sort of takes the legwork, and a lot of the, if you guys remember, those forms were really a lot of hassle. But what you do by doing that, you sort of undercount. You get a lower number than actually probably needs breakfast or lunch. So what the state does, they have a multiplier, which is a 1.6 of your number. So our district, we're completely covered because we've identified enough students to allow everyone to have free lunch and breakfast. So it would be no cost to us by even offering this, so we're at a number so close to 80%. So really, that's what we're asking, is that we give every student free breakfast.
Okay. And you said in your notes it's no additional cost to the
No.
district? Okay. All right, thank you so
And we
much.
get refunded.
Yeah, you get reimbursed for it, I mean, yeah, it's.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Boyles?
No.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate you. All right, right, so all we need is a motion now.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Pierce and Ms. Clement beat you, Ms. Prolong.
It's okay.
All in favor? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we'll move to general public comments. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Humphries, you know the rule, 3 minutes. Who's gonna time?
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Tammy Humphries, Blaze County Teachers Association. I have a couple things. One, I wanted to thank Dawn. We had some issues with pay and not being paid correctly, and the math wasn't mathing right, and she explained it, and so thankfully everyone understands it now. I did have a teacher reach out to me today and asked if I would ask, what criteria are we using to identify highly effective teachers? Observation was not purchased at full capacity, or was it? Because if it's not, then that's not an effective way to determine teacher performance. Also, iReady was not paid for. And PM3 diagnostic testing is only being used for 3rd grade and middle school as a mandatory data point in iReady, is what that is. FAST results show that less than 50% of students in Glades County are passing on grade level. There are over 70% of students 1 or more grade levels behind, with little staffing to properly execute Tier 3 students. Curriculum plans and mapping have not been implemented or created, and the school improvement advisor has yet to meet with teachers to develop a plan that was initially started in the beginning of the school year but never completed. My point in all of this is that if we do not have a solid foundation for data and curriculum, how are we effectively determining which teachers are effective? It all seems quite unjust. Also, classrooms are often split based on ability level, leaving 1 teacher per grade level with a higher ability classroom, which also isn't fair. That's also not, an effective way to determine if the teacher is effective. Unless you're basing data on growth, and currently, of course, our state test is based on mastery, not growth. Our district has provided many reasons as to why teacher retention bonuses could not be paid out this year, and it seems that performance pay will just be another loophole to limit the bonus pay due to district accounting errors. Her words, not mine. So, we are meeting with your attorney tomorrow to bargain on performance pay. Apparently there's not much left to bargain with, which is fine. We'll do whatever it is we have to do. I did ask if I asked Crystal, she told me she wasn't allowed to answer it, if the board had voted on this year's district director's pay, like the staff at the district office, what their pay was. She said she wasn't allowed to tell me,
Anything that we had to vote on, we can't discuss.
even though it's in the board doc. So I was just trying to save myself
Yeah.
hours of,
Yeah.
okay. So anyways, but I talked with Dr. Barfield, she cleared that up. Okay. So, if anybody would like to address those,
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Would you send that to Dr. Barfield so that she can,
I sure will.
because that was a long list of
I
things.
know it was, I know. I was
That's
trying to get it all
okay.
in.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We appreciate your time and your interest in the
Thank you
district.
for listening.
All right. Superintendent's report. Any other public comment? Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay, well, I want to begin my report by honoring some students that are so deserving, as well as their sponsor. As you know, the Sky Sluter brought her students to the school board meeting, a couple of months ago. And they were very impressive, and they came up and they told us what they were gonna do, and they told us what they were gonna do, and not only did they tell us, but they actually did it. So I'm gonna ask Sky to go to the podium and introduce these students, because we have some amazing students who actually brought home awards.
So I'm super excited. I do want to start. I do only have 3, but I believe my count might be a little off. I have 22 that I'm going to name. It's either 22 or 18 that I'm going to name. Most of them are at track today, so I have some track stars that are off either doing field events or running events today. I'm going to start with my lowest placing, working my way up to my highest placing. Gendris Alfonso placed 53rd in accounting 1. Addison Alfonso placed 51st in journalism.
Can you tell us out of how many?
I don't know. I don't get an exact number. So typically most events, I know for the speaking events, I'll get to those, they only have 42. So you get your top 42. With the testing events, it's normally anywhere from 50 to 60. So I won't know for sure which accounting, journalism, and business are all tested events. But I'll clarify what's tested and prejudged and everything. Miley and Herman, if y'all want to get up and come to the front. I know y'all, you look so surprised. You scared me. And then they had a third partner, Jennifer. They did graphic design. They placed 38th in the state. Their event is a prejudged event, and if they're in the top 15, they get to present to the judges.
Did you say graphic design?
Yes.
What all do you design?
Do you remember what you did?
Graphics.
Mainly me doing the designs. I designed a hoodie, a billboard.
It's like a magazine article, I think was the other one.
I don't remember. It's either on my phone or it's on my iPad.
That is very impressive.
Yep.
What was your theme?
It was Poppy and Friends. It was
It was a design we did last year. We just recreated it and added more stuff to it.
And what was it?
Yeah.
What was it?
It's like a T-shirt. It was like a T-shirt we made. Then we made a bag, a baseball hat, and a toy.
What's
But
your
this year
theme?
we made more.
What's your theme? That's what she's asking.
Yeah, the
I
theme.
don't know.
what we did it for was like environmental like change. Like helping the environment.
Poppy was a plant. That was her little
That's
file.
why I was Poppy and Friends. Like we can help the earth.
They had a third partner, Jennifer. They placed 38th. Typically, in your prejudged events, they have about 50 to 60 kids as well, and those the only 15 get to actually present, whether it's a team or an individual. So they can have up to 3, or one person can do it alone. In healthcare administration, Ryan P. placed 31st. She's at a softball game. Yanevi Jose Matias placed 28th in accounting 1, and then in my top 25, I have Wilfredo Hernandez, Candavian Mulligan, and Shakur Williams. They placed 25th in sports and entertainment management. And I will tell you, if you've ever met the 3 of them, I would have never guessed 25th was the number I was getting. Because they are a wild little bunch of, I call them silly, but they're wild. They took their test. They get a composite score based off the average of their test. And their test is, again, anywhere from 50 to 60 kids. If they're chosen in the top 10 of that group, they get to present to judges. They were not in the top 10. They didn't get to present. Amariana Thomas placed 25th in marketing. Hers is a tested event as well, so 50 to 60. Allison Maria and Rosalind Rodriguez, they together. I'm having a hard time talking today, y'all. Placed 25th in graphic design, so they were in the same category as Miley and Herman. Their design was a lawn care, so they were essentially selling their graphic design skills to a lawn care business was kind of their setup. They had to do the same magazine article, billboard, those kind of things as their presentation. Damari placed 14th in public speaking. His event did have 42 people. I had to count that one for him because I said, if you place 41st, I will be happy, as long as you're not last. So 14 is great. Nettie Rico, Nettie is a 9th grader. He did introduction to public speaking and placed 14th out of 41. He got the same speech at McDonald's. As long as you place 40th, I will not be upset. So I was very surprised at 14th. I was actually Nettie's event coordinator, so I got to see his score before it was sent, and I was very nervous. After I sat in with some of the other girls that gave presentations, I had a huge group with some young ladies that they gave some phenomenal speeches, but unfortunately, because I'm Nettie's advisor, I'm not allowed to sit in on his. And then Liam Dufresne placed 7th in the state in intro to event planning. His group is another one that would have 50 to 60, and then the top 10 get to present. So he barely missed that presentation. But I will say, to call my mom out real quick, my mom got to see Liam present at the district level, and she could not say any more nice things about him.
Well, explain to them what they have to do.
So Liam's event, you have to take a written test first. So you sit down, you take an objective test. It's anywhere from 150 competencies to 200. They kind of just pick out a random 100 that you have to test on. You have 50 minutes to complete this 100 question test. It is so incredibly nerve-wracking. They come in, they're freaking out. once you've taken the written test, you then have to go into a holding room. You have to sit, wait for your name to be called. You're given a random topic. You have 20 minutes to come up with your response to the topic. Typically, it's a scenario that he has to come up with a response. So in event planning, I want to say his had something to do with setting up an event, and he had to come up with each of the steps that he would do, and then you get 7 minutes to present. You get like 4 or 5 note cards and a pencil, and they say, go, good luck. So Liam, I was very impressed with the 7th place. He got a 75 out of 100 on his written test, which is what put him in 7th place. And he did tell me that he thinks his time is what pushed him down to 7, because with the objective test as well, it's based on not only who or how many questions you get right, but who turns it in the fastest. So he tied with somebody who also got 75 questions right. Whoever turns theirs in first is the person who is put in the list first. So
it's just, the nerve-wracking part to me is 20 minutes to prepare to give a 7-minute presentation. I mean, he had a note card and pencil, and that's how he wrote down his presentation. I mean,
and he's
it's
another
just-
9th grader
I
that
don't know very many people. I just know one who can come up with a speech on the fly. But it was really something to see, because he was very calm while he was in there.
and I'm up here shaking, and I'm 24.
Me too,
so I don't know. I'm shaking.
yeah.
But he's another 9th grader. He's only 14. I was really hoping he'd be here. I think they're having some transportation issues, so he couldn't make it. But I was so proud of him. He was so excited to join FBLA, and he wants to do this event again next year. He's trying to find something similar because they don't have event planning as a 11th and 12th grade event. Introduction events are for 9th and 10th only. So once they move out of that intro, they move into where it's one large group. And I will say that's another great thing about, I'll even give the example of Ryan Pete, who placed 31st in the state. She's in 9th grade. She's 14 years old. She'll be a junior next year. She's jumping a grade. She placed 31st, but she also tested against seniors who've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. So I was really proud of her as well. Brian, I don't want to leave Brian out, so I am going to make Brian get up and come stand with Herman and Wiley, because Brian was our voting delegate. So Brian actually, every time we had to go into a session or every time we had to do something as a group, I would tell Brian, go run, go find a good seat, and he would take off. And Brian runs like this, like he gets going and he takes off, and he always reserves our spot and he makes sure he gets there. And y'all got to vote first, right? So Miley, Brian, and Damari were our voting delegates for this conference. They got to go in and decide who our state officers were going to be for this year. Made some friends, got to meet some people, but Brian was hustling y'all. He was keeping our group at the front of the lines every time. And with 18 of us and 3 adults, it was a little rough with a big group. So Brian was definitely leading the pack around. But that's my take.
Awesome, thank you very much.
And just before I begin my report, I just want to say, as the superintendent, I got the honor to interview the seniors that were applying for scholarships. And the seniors that came in that Ms. Schluter had groomed and who had prepared for the interview, it was so distinctive of who those students were. Without them even saying anything, and then several of them came in, and then if you've watched the interviews, I mean, if you've had an opportunity to watch the interviews, when they talk about an adult that has made an influence in their life or a teacher, Miss Schluter's name was always there. And I think she's from Glades County. She grew up in this community, and we're very proud of her. And she's going to continue to do big things in our community. And so I'm really happy that she's with us. And I know her students love her because she gives 150% of herself on a daily basis. So congratulations. And students, I'm like taking notes over here because in graphic design, we always need, great graphics for the school district website, or we need, events to be planned. And I don't know that we could do it on a note card, but I mean, hey, we'll try. And Will is he's going to run for us, so there you go.
Oh, yeah. Brian's a track star. And Miley, I'm going to make her send me some of her drawings. I can send them to y'all. She's done some really amazing drawings. She also is on our yearbook staff, so she helped design a lot of the stuff we do with our yearbook as well. So, very proud of all. I was trying to had to hold it back.
Well, thank you all very much. Okay, so I just wanted to update you on a couple of things. I am working on the strategic plan. I wanted to let you know that it's going to be in a different format when we do send it off. I sent you an email just this afternoon. I've asked you to provide me with a little biography of yourself, who you are, your background, education, how long you've been on the board. This is just a kind of a sample of, you know, what theirs looks like. This is another county, and I really like the way that it looks and what how they presented it. Currently, the directors are going through, and I've asked them by Wednesday to have me all their information. Because from when we did the original strategic plan to now, there's been a lot of changes, positive. So we want to make sure we include those, but we want to make sure that we're setting goals that, you know, even though we met this goal, we want to make higher goals. We want to continue to get stronger. So that's where we are on this, and I would like to have this bound and ready to present to you all at the next meeting. If I have your bios, then I can get that done. So just send me something, email it to me, and I'll get it in. Okay. I wanted to bring up a couple things that we talked about. We are doing for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is the first week of May. Each week, the teachers, actually the staff, will be receiving different food items. I know the board, we did cake, subs, and a fruit tray, I believe.
Fruit and vegetables.
Right. And the other thing is we also made like little gifts that we're going to give each person. So each day they'll get something. But one other, just an additional project we did was we're asking the community to pick numbers. And we've gone through and given every staff member a number. So for example, you know, I'll say, you know, pick 5 numbers. If they want 5, then I'll go through and get the numbers they picked and give them the name. So they can't ask for a specific name. So if you'd like a number, if you'd like a couple of numbers, we're asking that each staff member receives a card or a letter, just something that says we appreciate you and that we know that you know, you're what makes this district so wonderful. So we've had a pretty good response. So that's something good. I wanted to bring this up only because we talked about it, and I kind of wanted to see. We did the survey on the Guardian program, and I needed to get with Sheriff Hardin to kind of go forward, or to kind of tell me what you all as the board, what you want me to do with this. So I don't know how we will go about. Do you want to just give me your opinions? Do you want to, how do you want to proceed with that? As far as, do you want to look into it more? Like, what's your direction?
What was the survey?
The survey was, there was a public survey and then there was a staff survey. And I can send you the.
No, we got that, but I mean, what was the response?
Oh, the response was that they do want there to be a Guardian program, but they're not comfortable with it being guns. It's kind of, the survey was kind of mixed. So, I mean, I think that probably what I should do is provide you all with the percentages.
Yeah.
And then at that time, maybe at the next board meeting, put it back on the agenda. And at that time, maybe take a vote, and if anyone wants to come with public comments, they can. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Because I do know this is a very political, decision. But I think that there's, definite for and definite against it. But I think that we've done a public workshop on it. We brought it up at the board meeting. We've had speakers come. I think we've had some staff members that have spoke about it. But I think we need to make a decision.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are any of those survey responses available for us to see?
You can see all of them.
Were there any staff members that were interested in doing it?
Very few.
Was there one at each school?
I don't know, because when we did the survey, it didn't tell us what school they were at.
Because if we don't have people that want to do it, there's no point in moving forward. There's nothing to do. If nobody's willing to get the training, if there's not at least one person, I would think, at each school, or maybe just one person in the whole district. And the grant funds are very specific. All you can do with them is the training, is my understanding. So it seems like that's where we need to go next. Who's gonna do it? Who wants to do it? It's a one-time stipend of $500, so
They don't get that every year that they.
No, ma'am.
it's gotta be somebody that really
And we didn't get the
wants
full grant.
to do it. We didn't? What did we not get?
It was supposed to be $100,000 and you said we got,
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The sheriff submitted was approved, we got that money,
but
right?
not the full amount.
Is there enough in it to do
We
training?
did not, yeah, that grant was not us. We did
It was
not
the
apply for that
sheriff.
grant. It
The
was the
sheriff's
sheriff's department, right.
But they said that the amount that was granted wasn't the full 100,000.
The amount that was granted wasn't gonna cover it.
Well, I don't know. What I'm
Find out,
saying
if
is,
you
I'm
will
gonna
find
place-
out how much we
right.
got, who wants to do the training, and then we'll see if we have enough money to train. Maybe it may only be one person.
Well, and then before all that, I wanna see the results.
Yeah.
A summary of the
I think the
results.
first thing we need to do is look at, I looked at the results when I was visiting with Dr. Barfield. And I don't think, I don't remember specifics, but it seemed to me like there wasn't really a strong desire to go forward with it. But she can share the results with everybody.
Ms. Boyles, can you forward it to the board members? Thank you. She's probably there. So you'll get it before this meeting's over. So the public survey, Ms. Boyles, as well as a staff survey. Thank you. So you'll have that, but I just think I would like to put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Let's make the decision. Whatever it is what it is, and you'll have an informed decision, and let's move forward.
And I think I can't recall if we voted to apply for the grant.
We did.
So we knew that, why would we apply for the grant if we weren't gonna do it? I mean,
I mean,
It was
you
on a
have,
deadline.
Because I think there's different.
so we only agreed to apply for the grant, not to incorporate
Correct.
the program.
Correct.
All right. So we'll just send the money back.
We voted to have Sheriff Harden move forward with applying
With the
for
grant
That
application.
was it.
Because if he didn't apply for the grant,
We would have missed.
we would have missed out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
But the window is getting shorter and shorter, and from my understanding, if we do move forward with this and we have to get training, these individuals will have to go during the summer to get trained. I mean, it's a very extensive training, and so if it's one or two people, it's not as it's still going to be extensive, but it would be easier to get them into another class somewhere else, and but we just need to on the next agenda. So I'm going to put it on there. If anyone wants to come at that time, they have their 3 minutes. They can give us their opinion. You guys can make an informed decision, and that's where we are with that. Is that okay? Okay. Alrighty. Dawn, were you able to get the figures I asked you for?
Was the
Athletic.
transportation, I had to stop and work
Okay.
on our annual report for the state.
Okay, so I had expressed that I would be bringing the figures for the funding, but for athletic travel, and so I will bring that to you at the next meeting as well. And that, I believe, is all that I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? All right, board member comments? I think it's next, my computer's restarting. Yeah. All right, Ms. Frolant, do you have anything?
Well, just a couple of things, all really good, I think. I went this morning, as well as you did, and saw the production of Beauty and the Beast at Westglade School, and I was really impressed. The amount of memorization
and this vocals and everything, a lot of work went into that, and we've got good things going on in that drama program out there. And then we have a softball game tomorrow night at home. And you have two choices for your meal, chicken and yellow rice or shepherd's pie, so come out and watch softball. That's it.
And you can't beat the price.
$10 for a meal, home cooked meal. It's awesome.
And out from the audience, guys. Monday, softball will also be hosting the first round of districts at home against St. John Newman. I believe at 6 o'clock also. And there will be a dinner special. I'll get the flyer out as soon as I find out. Waiting on a moment for texting Tony.
Thank you, awesome. I didn't know about Monday nights, so.
I just think.
All right, Miss Allen?
I don't know anything.
Okay. Ms. Pierce?
Just wondering if everyone looked at the names on the list of the scholarships that have not been picked up. Did you look at the students' names? Bryce is on there, he's got $3,000 that hasn't been claimed. I took a screenshot of it.
Where is this at?
Andrew Krause wrote, sent us emails, so open it and go look
It
at the
was
list.
for people that donate to the scholarship organization, you wouldn't have gotten it.
Well, I donate, but I don't think I got that.
It was for our memorial people,
Oh,
those
not a memorial.
special scholarships. He was saying that if the student did not collect the funds, you still have it in your account if you're a donor to give, if they, because they have so many years until some of them quit school or change their mind or whatever. So he was just letting them know, hey, your kid didn't.
And they were saying he said if you see a student saying,
Yes.
let them know, so
Yeah.
I'm letting you know there's two
Yeah.
$1,500 scholarships for Bright still there.
Thank you. Yes.
I did forget one thing that I did want to bring to the board. I sent an email that I copied you on the email I had sent it to the county commissioners. As you all know that, ITech is very important to us. And although we have financially, we are not responsible for the building. And that is an agreement between the county commissioners and the ITech. We are, ITech is great for our kids and it's great for our community. And so the letter that I sent you all was just asking for the commissioners to draw attention to the facility and the requirements, the grounds that, it's in their contract. And I would just hope that if you see a commissioner, please, remind them that.
Have they answered?
No one, I've not received any responses from anyone, but just please remind them that, this is crucial for our community. And it is, we don't want to lose ITech, and they could leave tomorrow. And we want to make sure that, they don't, because we want to keep them here, so.
There wasn't anything hazardous, it was just
No.
aesthetics.
Well, I think there's one room that there is I want to say it's where the welding room was going to be, and it's where the floor is not completely finished. There's big rollers, and I guess the rollers have come off of the hinge or the hinges, and so I guess they requested that they be fixed, and no one has done it, and so now when it rains or whatever, or animals are getting inside the building through that, and so they've invested a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to see that investment go away. So that's it. Thank you for letting me.
Okay, Ms. Pierce, did you have anything else?
No, congratulations to all of you. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Ms. Clement?
I have a few.
Okay, yeah.
First, I just want to apologize for not being at the last meeting. I was in Louisiana for a youth development conference. This week was administrative assistant appreciation as well as bus driver appreciation. So if you are an admin assistant or a bus driver, we greatly appreciate all of you, and we're very thankful for everything you do to keep our schools in a positive state. You brought up the Guardian program. I was just talking to the gentleman earlier.
just curious, I seen that there is a Safe Schools grant for a canine. And we talked about it at FSBA a little bit. I didn't really go into the information of it. Mr. Bowles, you may know a little bit more than I do. I'm not very knowledgeable on it. But I was just curious if that would be something that we would be interested in looking into for a canine.
I'm always up for anything, whatever, you know, I don't know if do you all know anything about it? Okay. Hey, we can always learn and make a decision and get as much information as we can.
So I'm not sure if I would just come to you and we'd look into it, or how to even
You would go
initiate
through
it?
Sheriff Hart.
Okay, all right. There was a question about Paris and ESE miscommunication. Can you let everyone know what happened there and where we're at?
Yes, I can. So on April 17th, we actually, Gabby, would you like to do this? Would you like to answer her question?
I can.
Okay, could you come to the podium, please?
Okay, so you just want me to just explain the ESE?
Just kind of what happened and where we're at.
Okay, so where we're at with SEIU, the non-instructional bargaining unit, is we had a tentative agreement when we met with them about 3 weeks ago. And the way SEIU works, they do not have local representation within the schools. I've asked them for the last few years that I've been here, and they said, no, that's not how we do it. I know at one point in time, Pauline Lewis was, and she was actually the one who was designated to sign off on any tentative agreements or MOUs, and all of a sudden, it was, no, we don't have reps anymore, we're working on it. Then it turned into, they required their president of SEIU, who stays in an office in Palm Beach County, to sign off on all of our MOUs or tentative agreements, and he does not attend any of our negotiation meetings. So whenever we met with them, they did not bring any documentation to sign off with, which typically that is the practice. When we bargain, when we come to an agreement, they bring the documentation written out. And then both parties have a conversation and we sign. Everyone has their own copies to sign, so everyone has original signatures. That way we have an executed document that their union can then go and vote on, so that it can be ratified, but then also in return, we're not waiting for their vote and have this stuff ready to be placed in board docs for the board to vote on. The board can vote on the tentative agreement or an MOU prior to any unions voting and ratifying it, but we can't execute it until both parties have both voted and ratified the tentative agreement and MOUs, whichever one. So, being that when we met with SEIU, we had an incomplete or unexecuted agreement. And instead of sending over the executed agreement, because we agreed that we would wait for them to go to Palm Beach County to meet with their actual president of their union, entire union, to sign off on it, they decided that they were not going to provide that to us until their union here in Glades County voted on what they provided. So they voted on April 17th, and then that's when we were provided the fully executed MOU. Mr. Lepore is the SEIU rep that sits in these meetings, and he sent out this flyer that was sent to all non-instructional staff, And I believe that the flyer is misleading. I read it myself and it's misleading. For example, where he has written other issues, it says, "We are pleased to report that the district agreed to our proposal for a $1,500 incentive pay for paraprofessionals." Well, when non-instructional staff voted on that, of course, they were ecstatic because they think that they're getting a $1,500 incentive pay bonus. And that just wasn't the case. The MOU reads that the $1,500 pay, which we had discussed with you, the board, was to increase the hygiene supplement for those ESC paras that were actually dedicated to do hygiene tasks on the job. It went from $1,000 to $1,500. And SIU failed to actually explain that fully to their staff what they were voting on. So Dr. Barfield and then also myself, we had a lot of staff reach out to us. They were upset throughout the day, whether it was they didn't have the ability to leave their location to go vote because their voting wasn't set up in their location, or they realized that the $1,500 incentive pay is not what it seemed to be. So they wanted clarification. So we did release a statement, and we did make sure that SEIU received our statement as well. And we just clarified that this $1,500 bonus was not generally just for all paraprofessionals, it was for that particular hygiene supplement.
And let me add that when these staff members were reaching out to us, I mean, I received calls, I probably received 10 phone calls about, and they weren't mad at us because it's nothing that the district did. They were mad at their representation. What can we do? And I said, we cannot get involved in this, but we had staff members that were kicked out of voting rooms. We had staff members that were yelled at. And that's why, you know, we have a great relationship with our teachers union. We've been very open. I mean, if there's a problem, we reach out, make a phone call, not an issue. Non-instructional, it has been a fight for 4 years. It has been a fight. And it's not because we haven't tried. And he shot back a letter to me, but I'm not responding because I will let Mr. Dixon handle that. But I can tell you that the vote, my phone was blowing up from teachers, not just at Westglades, because that was where the majority, because I guess that's where it was pretty hostile. But at Moorhaven, because the teachers were not, non-instructional, I'm sorry, the non-instructional staff at the high school, they wanted to do all the voting at the high school, and I called him. I called Mr. Laporte and I said, you need to go over to the elementary school. It's not fair that those teachers have to leave their site and go to the high school to vote. And he did do that. So, but within a few minutes of me calling him, I would say probably 30 minutes, we received the vote that it was final. So I think that if you're hearing concerns, it's nothing on the district. It's what happened with their leadership, and it really wasn't their leadership here and within our district. It's their leadership through SEIU.
So is there any way to make sure that mishap doesn't happen? I mean, is there any way to make sure that doesn't happen again, like an understanding of?
So legally, we cannot get involved in any union matters unless it's at negotiations. The district is allowed to release statements like I did earlier last week to provide clarification on things. We try our best to be transparent on everything. We do take minutes during these meetings. We notate everything. And we have record of everything, who said what in all the meetings. So the unfortunate thing is that we can't do anything about flyers like this that get sent out, other than just release a general statement providing transparency. We can't go into depth. We can't provide more assistance than what we legally can.
Do those flyers get sent to the district office as well as to the non-instructional?
it depends, I can't say that they do it all the time. The SEIU, union is not consistent in their communication between what they send to their members, and qualified, positions, versus what we actually get from them. So I don't know everything that they send to their members, and they're not required to.
And I'm just questioning.
Yeah, no, I understand.
How many non-instructional union members are there?
Paying dues members, well, because of the Florida law, the Florida statute that changed, we, paying, dues are not generated through through payroll anymore. That the members actually have to pay the unions directly. The last time that I asked SEIU, for an updated list of their paying dues members, they failed to, comply and provide that information to us. But there was probably a few months ago, they told me they had about 7 paying dues out of, it's not 200, but it's probably about 180, give or take, positions that are qualified to be within the union. Well, not positions, but individuals in those qualified positions to be in the union.
And I do know that there is because I've had members reach out to me and I've said, I cannot have this conversation, we cannot have this conversation at all. But many of them have said, we do not want to be with SEIU, what can we do? How can we get away? And I said, well, then you need to talk with your people, and I do know that is ongoing.
Good. And then need to bring it back home.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, several meetings ago, we said that we were doing an umbrella of kind of a pecking order of, if there's a situation going on, here's who you need to reply to. I know you told me that we do have that. Is there a way that we can all have a copy of that in our hands so that we can just say, oh, okay, well, here you go. Okay, and I'll just make sure that I get back to you on that.
Okay.
And parents, Moorhaven Elementary School are asking about the kindergarten program, when they will be able to know, because they've seen that Westlake knows who's been accepted, but they don't know here yet.
The kindergarten program.
Preschool?
Or preschool, yep.
I'm looking. You'll just email me.
Okay.
I was looking to see if Caitlin or.
There's been I love that people in the community or in the district are open and happy to call me, and I love that people can trust me to call me. But there's been a couple comments that they're not sure how to contact some of our board members, or if they feel like you're welcoming to them. So I don't know how to open that line of communication and say, hey, this is me, this is my number. They've just asked if there's easier ways and how to contact some of us. So I wasn't sure if I could just give them your cell phone number. I wasn't sure how that line of communication goes.
Sure, it's on the website, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the website, and if they're calling to talk to us about anything we're discussing, I'm not gonna have a conversation with them, so. I'll be like Kimmy and tell them, I'm sorry, I can't discuss that with you, so. I don't even like that to happen. I don't even answer my phone. I listen to my messages.
But a
screen
lot
my
of
calls.
people are very concerned.
I screen my calls. I know, it's like we're being dishonest.
It is.
But after 24 years, they just don't even call me. If it's something that we're discussing, because if it's an active thing that's happening, we're not supposed to be discussing with anyone.
Well, I think what Kim was saying was just any issue, right? They've got an issue with a teacher or whatever. And so she's asked for the chain of command to tell them, you need to talk to your principal or whatever. But then I would tell them, Kim, all their emails are on the website.
Everybody's on
And
there,
if they email you, it's best, because then you have it in writing.
and I answer.
And then you can tell them if you don't, you can just reply, here's my cell phone.
So most people
Yeah.
are to the point where there's been amazing things that are going on to the school, whereas there's also things that are spine tingling because of things that they're telling you that are going on in the school, in the district and whatnot. They will not put it in text, they will not put it in writing, they don't want their name associated with it. But they're to the end of where they don't know where to go and how to get help, or they want people to know what's going on.
So, I'm just gonna say this, this is probably my famous say, if you know better, you do better. And if we don't know what the complaints are, then we can't do better. And so when people say they're afraid, then gossiping about it is gonna always make it better, right? So they need to be professional. I mean, if it's a parent and they have a complaint, they need to go to a teacher. If it says the teacher, I mean, that is just, the teachers deserve that respect, and they deserve to be given the professionalism to go to the teacher. One of the hardest things for me, and I think I've shared this with the board, one of the hardest things for me as a superintendent has been that when people call because they have a complaint, to say, have you called the principal? If it's a situation at Moorhaven High School or Moorhaven Elementary, have you called the principal? Well, no, but I'm sorry, and I'm not being disrespectful, but you need to call the principal, because it's not good for the culture to all of a sudden call Dr. Barfield, and I call the principal and I'm like, hey, Mr. Brickle, hey, Mr. Doty, hey, Miss Wills, did you know? And they're like, what are you talking? They're totally blindsided. And I understand that people, they don't want to be associated. Well, if they care enough about the problem and they're truly concerned and they're not gossiping, then call, make an appointment. You know what? I've said this so many times that everybody knows that I'm probably the most accessible superintendent, and I know as board members that you feel the same way, but I give my personal cell phone number out. I'm here on the weekends. I am here at night. If someone wants to meet with me, I am available, but I am not going to meet with a parent if they have not gone through the chain of command. Right. And it's just the way it is. I respect my principals, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And I respect my teachers. I would never call a teacher. It would just be like me calling Miss Humphreys. I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to call Miss Humphreys and chew her out because she didn't allow so-and-so to have recess. That's not my place, and that's not my job as a superintendent. My job is to make sure that I hire the people in the right places, and I've done that. I put her principal in place. He's the one that should have those conversations. It's just like, if a bus driver was driving off the highway, they wouldn't call you as a school board member. Well, and I'm sure they do, but that's where that's an opportunity for you to say, have you reached out to Miss Roberta? Have you?
And having that umbrella just in my hand, if I can just physically have that paper, that will be so helpful for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't let them make you talk about stuff.
I listen a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. Because later on, you're only hearing one side, so you.
And I do know that a lot of them are employees as well and aren't able to go to their higher ups because they don't want, they have to feed their families and they can't.
They can always go to if they're teachers, they always can go to their union rep.
Yeah. And that's you, right? Okay.
Not the high school.
They
can come to me, but there are union reps at every school. There's 2 at Westlake.
Okay.
But and I'll also say this too, that it's building the culture within those schools, and it really tears it up when a district person or come in and we try to discipline without going through the chain. And it looks bad that a board member would go to a school and try to discipline. It messes it up. It messes the whole flow of everything. And you've asked me as a board to do the best job I can to hire the best person for those jobs, and we look at resumes and we talk and we interview, and every decision, I bring to you all as a board my recommendation, and you supported 99.9% of those recommendations. If it's an employee and they're scared for their job, they need to go to their union reps. Now that's coming from an old principal. I was a principal for many, many years, and I always said, get your union involved. If you are uncomfortable, then you need to get your union involved. But my fear, and not just at you, of any person, if they're calling to complain about something or they're placing it on Facebook and they don't want to put their name behind it or they want to, then they're doing it to stir trouble or to have gossip or to see how many likes they can get. And that is killing our schools.
It's an election year.
You what?
I said I made a post about that thing at 2 o'clock this morning because I'm sick of people tearing down my little school and the people who work there.
Because these two right here in front,
Yep.
you know what, the gossip, that's who it's hurting.
Uh-huh.
It's not hurting us. It's hurting those two. And that's when it becomes personal.
So they're scared to reach out to principals and schools, but they're not scared to put stuff on Facebook.
So are y'all open to people contacting you on your personal phones? They're just curious on how they can reach out to school board members.
Yes, I know, you can get.
They can talk to me on Facebook, they can leave a message on my phone, but I'm not talking to anybody about any of that. Ever.
I would prefer they reach out to me through email. My email address is on the website. It's pretty easy. Jean.Furlong@schools.org. You know,
Call Jackie.
and then if I feel the need to talk to them, I'll send them my phone number,
I
but
used to talk and it just all gets, there's no witnesses and everything gets reversed and they use my name later on and it's not what I said and I just don't know, so now I can say I never had a conversation with them.
And I will say too this, and then, I mean, I don't know, you probably didn't need all these rebuttals, but, you know, people saying they're scared to come forward.
Then they're wrong, something's wrong.
There's an issue, because I'm gonna tell you, some of the people that have been disciplined the hardest, or that they have, I say disciplined, who have had things happen or that have had to be reported, a lot of times the public don't know about that because they never would know, because those people are treated no different. So I'm just, you know, I just think that my concern is that, listen, there's been some pretty heated in the past, I'm speaking for 4 years now, or three years, however many months, but almost 4 years, there's been some heated topics that's happened up here. And we've been through a lot in 4 years. And I can tell you that you'll see on Facebook all these, you know, people are going to come up to the school and they're going to do this. And how many people at our school board meetings? How many people emailed? You know, when we had the whole, not to bring up a bad topic, but when we had the whole 50 feet, you know, I had one community member came to me professionally, and it was Mr. Scott, I'll say it. He came to me as a professional and he sat in front of me. We looked at each other in the eye. We talked about it. We walked over and looked at, you know what? That's the way it's supposed to be. But people sharing stuff and saying stuff on social media just to get likes and shares, that's not good.
Yeah, and it's never correct information when they
No,
start it,
it's not correct.
99% of the time.
So they're welcome. They can call. They can reach out to me on Facebook. They can reach out to me on email. They can call my personal cell. They can tell me to meet them under the bridge. I don't care. If they want to talk about this school district, I'm there for it. But at the same time, I'm very protective of our district, and we've worked really hard the past 4 years. So I'm very protective, but I'm very proud of it. And when people come to us and talk negative about it, it really irritates me. So if I get a little frustrated, and I don't mean to raise my voice, but I do. I'm getting really, it really makes me angry. And listen, like I said, if you know better, you do better. So if it's something we're doing and we need to fix it, then let's do it. But if you're complaining just to complain, then we don't have time for it.
Ms. Dawn, I did call you with those questions. Those questions have risen up again, and so is there would you mind touching on some of the questions that I asked you about the accounting? With the different charges that have been questioned and people were asking about, and so you said there was nothing there and that they could call you, but could we just, on public record, go ahead and let everybody know where we're at, what's going on? There's no charges there.
Specify which charges. I have a lot of conversations, I apologize.
No, that's okay.
The
So
auditors were in.
there was talks about the credit card being misused and different charges that weren't there and what's going around in the public. I just wanna put things to rest so that people.
The specific charges that you asked me about
Yes.
do not exist
Okay.
at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
I just.
And anybody, and those are also audited, the auditors that are actually here right now audit those statements and those charges and the operations concerning the processing of it as well. And that audit happens every single fiscal year as well. So it's not just my say-so, but the auditors say so, and then we also have a segregation of duties within the finance department. So there's 3 separate sets of eyes. And then it also goes on the accounting register as well. So they do not exist.
I just wanted to put it out there. This is public record. We're all here. I don't know if you guys have all gotten questions. I know, Ms. Beth, I'm pretty sure you get questions all the time about silly things, but now that we've had it on public record, there it is. We're good on that. One other question was the auditorium. Were we gonna talk about the fees and scheduling?
Yes, and we, and I, yeah, the next meeting, yeah.
May 9th.
I'm gonna put what we talked about at the, last workshop, and it'll be on that.
I think that's almost everything. Okay, that's everything for now. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Clement. So I have just a couple things. Jean and I went to the finance forum, and it was very good. We learned a lot of new information. And Dr. Barfield, I'm just gonna meet with you one day and go over some of the things I learned, and I'm sure Ms. Prowat will as well. But it was good. It was a very good conference. They had things like, I have the number of students on scholarship in our county, the number of homeschools. So some really good information there, I thought. I did want to ask the board for a favor. When I first got on the board, I started reading through the policies, trying to, of course, I didn't sit and spend a lot of time and really try to understand them, but I did read through them as quickly as I could. And there was one that really stood out to me. And it's at the very end of our policies. I have the number right here. It's policy number 9900, and it's the recognition of World War II, Korean conflict, and Vietnam veterans awarded high school diplomas. And you know, I'd done a lot of work in my classroom with veterans, so it really piqued my interest. So I read through it. And what it does, it's a statute in the state that says if a person joined the military and then quit high school without a diploma, and then subsequently joined the military and served during World War II, the Korean conflict, or the Vietnam War era, that the state of Florida would issue them a high school diploma. And so I thought that was really cool when I read that. And then it wasn't long after that my uncle, who was a World War II veteran, started telling me his story about quitting school in Orlando, Florida. He went into the Navy, and he was a career Navy man. And he passed away about a year ago, and I remembered this policy and his story, and so I've been doing a lot of research on his story. I have his death certificate here, which is one of the required documents, and I have the Veterans Administration in Hendry County has been helping me verify that he was honorably discharged. I've applied with the state of Florida.
We still have to get some DD 214 or some kind of form, but we have it. And I want to do it at graduation. That's my goal. Our policy says that we can do it at a regular meeting, but I wanted to do it at graduation and award it to his daughter and his grandson. And he did live in Glades County for a short while. But one reason I want to do it at graduation is so that, and Dr. Barfield and I have already discussed this, and she agreed too, that there's probably veterans in our county that would qualify, and that this would be, hopefully get some interest from the BFW, because we don't have our own person in Glades County.
You might wanna make up a flyer.
We're sharing with Hendry, so, yeah, for the VFW.
I know some
So,
digital design kids.
yeah, they can make the, there we go.
Well, and I also wanna say too, when I was up in Buckhead at the community meeting, I discussed it with a couple of people, and they were very excited about it. They're like, what about so-and-so? And so I think that there's a lot of veterans within our community. I wanna say that also, and I do not have the exact numbers, but at one point, the number 11 keeps coming into my mind, that there's 11 students. Ms. Sluter, do you know, is there 11 students this year that are wanting to go into the armed forces? Is it 11?
I think it's 11 or 13.
11 or
It's over 10,
13.
I knew that.
This is one of the largest classes of students that want to go into the armed forces, so I think it would be a great way at graduation. You've done a lot of work, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but maybe if we put it out there, let's talk after the meeting and kind of come up with a plan on how to, I know, Geraldine, I know your family's involved with
Part or something that we can share.
yeah, maybe we could come up with something through your group, if you guys can come up with something and us put it out. I have a meeting with some veterans next week, so I mean, we need to get this going. So let's talk. And
Is that okay with everybody to have my uncle and possibly other people honored at graduation? That would be awesome. I will tell you, it takes some legwork. So it's a form, I don't know military stuff, but anyway, it's a certain form that you have to get. So, and it has to be the next of kin that orders that form from the VA. They're very picky, so.
does that
but I'll
come
be
for
glad
a
to help.
graduation rate?
Maybe. The other thing I wanted to touch on, thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. So I got a call from Mr. Eigner with the Challenger Committee. He's the chairman. And he asked if we would appoint someone on our board to serve on the Challenger Committee. And I said, absolutely, we would. And he asked about Miss Clement. He felt like Miss Clement would be the most, her kids are involved in 4-H and stuff, and so he kind of wanted Miss Clement. So I thought she would be a great representative for us as well if she's willing. I did tell him that I know, Miss Clement, you have a lot of obligations with work and meetings and this and that. And I explained that to him, and I told him that I would do for you like I do for Dr. Barfield on the EDC. If you're out of town, I could be your alternate, or someone else could be your alternate. And that way you don't, feel the whole weight of it on your shoulders. But would you be willing to serve on that committee as our representative? Okay. All right, does anybody want to be?
How often do they meet?
The closer it gets to Challenger, the closer they are, but, right now it wouldn't be very often. No. They'll just have an email list and email their people and say, probably once a month for most of the year.
I think Ms. Clement would be great. I've already paid my dues on that committee and I'm not volunteering anymore.
I've been on the committee too, so I think she's great. Ms. Prowan, are you interested in serving on that?
I think it might be a conflict because my son is one of the members.
Oh,
of the
no, they
committee.
wouldn't care.
Good try. So,
Brian and I have to get along with each
I
other.
know.
That might cause a family conflict.
So Kim, if I will let Mr. Eigner know that you agreed, and then if they are holding a meeting and you can't make it, if you want to just let one of us know and we'll step in and cover for you if you can't.
If you'll let Crystal know specifically.
Yeah, if I can, I'll do it.
I'm 60 miles away.
Yeah, I would be glad to do that. So everybody's in agreement with Ms.
Yes.
Clement? Okay. All right, that's all I have for tonight. Is there anything else? All right.
Next meeting is May 9th at 9 a.m.
And I will not be present.
May 9th, 9 a.m. Oh,
You
yeah.
sure will not be present.
We have Mother's Day trivia, May 9th at 5.
Yes.
We're excited, it was a lot of fun last year.
What's the food gonna be this time?
I think we agreed today spaghetti, garlic bread, and salad.
Oh,
And then the kids are gonna bring desserts and some small prizes. We always try to give away stuff for people to give us Mother's Day gifts.
What time is that?
At 5 o'clock on May 9th.
Okay. What is
And
the,
it'll be in the cafeteria at the high school.
Mother's Day trivia.
But we're gonna do Mother's Day music trivia. So
gotcha.
it was a little vibe last year.
I don't know when Sky
I
sleeps.
really
I know.
had fun
Well,
one
she's
year. I
right.
only did it once, but
I think that might have been the one you came to, because you got the gift certificates to Ellie's. Your
Yes.
husband did, didn't he?
yes,
So you said you were getting flowers for Mother's Day.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I-
Although I
yeah.
didn't recognize most of the music, it's way, I'm old.
Well, we did, we got,
You need to put some old music in there, okay, like 50s and 60s.
Yes, high school cafeteria.
Got it.
We're gonna serve dinner starting at 5 and then trivia will start at 5:30. That way they always run late. They can-
What's the date for that?
May
I'm
9th.
gonna add it to your calendars.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Board, we have to take our picture in the back, and, Ms. Krosky, if you will get, something out of the back of my car, please.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And
Meeting